Paraphrasing is an essential IELTS skill. This post will show you how to paraphrase effectively. Paraphrasing is simply rewriting a phrase or sentence so that it has the same meaning but with different words. Paraphrasing is one of the most important skills to learn before doing your IELTS test. It is most important for writing and speaking, but will also help you in the reading and listening tests. In other words, if you know how to paraphrase, you are more likely to get the score you need. The mental processes required to paraphrase will also help you to fully understand the question, and this is one of the reasons I tell my students to begin all of their answers in the writing test by paraphrasing the question. Let's look at an example. Example: paraphrasing is one of the most important skills to learn before doing your IELTS test. Paraphrased: before taking the IELTS test, mastering paraphrasing is one of the most crucial things to do. As you can see, the second sentence, paraphrased sentence, uses synonyms to change some vocabulary. Example: important for crucial and prior to before, and changes the grammar. Example: paraphrasing is one of the most important skills for mastering paraphrasing. You can also change the word order. You should use these three main methods in the IELTS test to paraphrase sentences. Ideally, you should try to use all three, but sometimes two will only be possible. We will now look at each method in detail and also have a look at the passive. Method number 1, using synonyms. Synonyms are different words that have the same meaning. For example, humans is a synonym for people and attractive is a synonym for beautiful. This method replaces words with the same meaning to produce a new sentence. For example, my car needs petrol. My vehicle requires fuel. As you can see, I have replaced 3 out of 4 words with synonyms to produce a new sentence with the same meaning as the first one. You will notice that I didn't replace all of the words, but you should try to replace most of them. This is the most common method that students use, and it can be used effectively, but you should be careful. Violent crime is on the rise among teenagers. Violent offenses are rising among young people. This student has changed the word teenagers to young people. They are similar words, and teenagers are, of course, young people. However, children and young adults, aged between 18 to 30, could also be described as young people. A more term would be adolescents or young people between the ages of 13-19. A better way to paraphrase this sentence would therefore be: violent offenses are rising among adolescents. You should, therefore, only use words you are 100% sure about. Don't change a word unless you are 100% sure that it is a direct synonym. Otherwise, you are likely to make mistakes, which will lower your score. Let's look at another good example. Global warming is mostly caused by emissions from internal combustion engines. Climate change is mainly caused by the release of fumes from motor vehicles. Method number 2, change the word order. Changing the word order also allows us to effectively paraphrase a sentence, but again, we have to be careful. Don't change the word order without thinking about how this affects the grammar of the sentence. By changing the word order, you may have to add a word, subtract a word, or change the form of the word. The 100% rule applies again. Don't change it if you are not 100% sure it is grammatically correct. Remember that you are judged on your ability to produce error-free sentences in the IELTS test and use a range of grammar structures. Fortunately, there are 2 straightforward ways to change the word order in most IELTS questions. You can easily change the order of the clauses if the original sentence has more than one clause. Question: as languages such as Spanish, Chinese, and English become more widely used, there is a fear that many minority languages may die out. Paraphrased: by changing word order, there is a fear that many minority languages may die out, as languages such as Spanish, Chinese, and English become more widely used. We could also add some synonyms to paraphrase it even more. Paraphrased with changing word order and synonyms, there is dismay that many lesser used languages may pass away as languages such as Chinese, English, and Spanish become more broadly spoken. You can also change the word order if there is an adjective or noun in the question. You do this by simply changing the adjective into a relative clause. Question: learning to manage money is one of the key aspects of adult life. Paraphrased: learning to manage money is a key aspect of adult life. Method number 3, change the form of the word. There are many different forms of words, including nouns, verbs, adjectives, and adverbs. Changing the form of a word allows us to paraphrase effectively. Again, don't just change the form of the word, you also need to check that your changes make grammatical sense. You might need to change the words around it to make the sentence error-free. Question: longer lifespans and improvements in the health of older people suggest that people over the age of 65 can continue to live full and active lives. Paraphrased: by changing word form, longer lifespans and improvements in the health of older people are suggesting that people over the age of 65 can continue living full and active lives. Method number 4, change from active to passive. The passive voice is often used in academic writing and can therefore be used in the IELTS academic writing test. Only verbs with an object can be turned into passive. Example: active sentence: the property developers invested $20 million in the development of the shopping center. Example: passive sentence: $20 million was invested in the development of shopping centers. We often use the passive voice in academic writing when we don't want to say it is our opinion. Example: active: people say that global warming is caused by the burning of fossil fuels. Example: passive: global warming is said to be caused by the burning of fossil fuels. How many of these methods should I use? The 4 methods can be used independently or together. I advise my students to try and change the grammar, word order and / or word form, and use synonyms. Remember, only use the methods you feel 100% comfortable using and ensure your work is error-free.